Happy Sunday and welcome back for day 68 of 100 days of Halloween. I hope you are doing well and have been enjoying your weekend. So, 100 days of Halloween. What am I doing? If you are new here, my lovely friend and Yarny sister Ranee over at the Woolly Llama Shop discussed with several of us on a live back in July that she was wanting to do a Halloween or fall themed blanket for the 100 Days of Halloween, which was quickly approaching. Her bright idea, since it is still hot in the South, was to make this blanket in small bite sized pieces or 6 inch by 6 inch approximately squares with either a fall or Halloween theme, colorway, applique of something like that. And she had scoured the internet and she had compiled this big long list of all of these different squares and appliques that would go with the theme. And she decided she was going to draw them at random from her jinxed jack-o'-lantern of joy every day, except for Fridays, I mean, Saturday and Sunday, because she works. And so she will give you a three-fer on Fridays. And her patterns are free, either a blog post written pattern or a video tutorial. I decided to join in solidarity, but I wasn't that structured. And even though I am making a blanket, I am using either free patterns for squares on the internet or appliques. I'm also taking inspiration from you guys or Ranee or our other Yarny friends and sisters that have joined in. Patricia over at Yarny Cat Crochet and Nova over at Nova Gnome Creations. And if I can't find a pattern, I am winging it, throwing caution to the wind, and freehanding more than I have ever freehanded on smaller things. I mean, I freehand on amigurumi a lot and go rogue on patterns, but I have never attempted to freehand squares and appliques before. So, yes, there we go with that. So, but speaking of Patricia and Nova, our Yarny sisters, they have joined in as well, but they are not making blankets. They went an entirely different direction. Nova is making wearables for her and some littles in her life. And Patricia really went rogue and she has already made 3 projects that I'm aware of. As of today, I haven't checked to see if she's dropped another video because we never know with her. She's very sneaky, sneaky. She has made a handbag. She has made a scarf to match that handbag. She has made an amigurumi and she is having fun with it, but in a whole different direction. We're all doing the same project, but we're doing it in different ways and we're doing it together and we're having a whole lot of fun. And so far, I've gotten one picture from you guys of someone who is making along, but they went an entirely different direction too. And I can't wait to show that picture, but I'm trying to get some more entries in for you guys. And that way we can kind of do a little montage. Um, but if we don't get any more because you guys are just watching all the shenanigans and really not making along with us, then I'll have the other ladies send me some pictures and we'll do it that way and implement our viewer that already sent in a picture because what she made, you guys, is super cute. So, with that, in regards to the squares, I'm counting mine down in groups of 10 because it's easier for me to keep track of. And every time I have completed another set of 10, I'm doing a video short recap and uploading it for you guys to view before I take those squares and implement them into my blanket or feed the blanket. And if you've been around a while, you know why we say feed, um, because I have a lot of black kitties in my blanket. And so we got to feed the kitties. So, with that, we are on days 61 through 70, and the countdown is ever growing nigh. We are almost to Halloween, guys. I cannot believe how close we are. So, let's do a recap of day 61 and get ourselves up to speed on day 68 and see what we did for square 68. So, for day 61, We had drawn out a square at random, and some of these squares, I think it starts with day 64, because I had to pull them out in advance to get them ready because I am on vacation. And as Amie from Hooked on Wishing put it, it is my vacation advent of granny squares. And I love that. I will have to remember that. And yeah, it definitely is. So we pulled out a square for day 61 made out of this Red Heart Super Saver jumbo stripes in the colorway Brights, because I have a lot of squares that are using all these colors because we all know if it's fluorescent or bright, I love them. And I used up a whole skein making squares in advance because I loved how the colors were flowing. They were all different. And the majority of them, I have not covered them up because they were so cool looking. So for day 61, we went a little bit rogue. Of course we did. And I did put appliques on. I had a little smidgy ball, scrap ball left out of the skein from making the squares that wasn't enough for a complete square. And it was just sitting staring at me next to my recliner saying, please use me. And I kind of got inspired because of the colors on the square were so bright and cheerful and everything. And I happened upon a pattern by the Caffeinated Snail called Candy Applique. It's for a Halloween blanket she did. I think it's got ghosts and I think pumpkins and candies and stuff. So I used that smidgy bit ball of what was left over to make these bright colored little Halloween treats to put on this square because I thought it went super well. So those were by the Caffeinated Snail. Any of the squares in this group will be linked in the description box for if there's an applique or a tutorial. If it's freehanded, I will let you know, and that will tell you there is no pattern for it. So if you like the candies and want to use them on something, just look for day 61. And then for day 62, we drew out another cool square, and it had like a sunset vibe going on. It had this yellow with these orangey flecks, went to a brighter yellow, orange, and then to a deeper orange, and then a lighter red, and then a deep red. And I was searching the internet for some inspiration on something different, and kind of looking at suggestions and everything that had been already um, put in because I have been keeping a running list. And I happened upon this tutorial, and it was a different one than I had done before. I had done a bat before, but this one looked super cute, and it was called Silly Bat Applique. And the tutorial was super cool, and it is by Butterfly Craft DIY, and it's linked in the description box as well. And the bat is entirely different than the one I've used before, so I wanted to try it, and I thought it looked super cool on this sunset vibe kind of square. So that was what we did by Butterfly Craft DIY, and it's the silly bat. And I'm trying to keep my little markers with them so I don't forget. And then for day 63, we drew out a purple square. Yep, we love purple. And I wanted to implement something that had continually been being suggested or guessed in my comment section from you guys on what would go on squares in the past. And so I was going with inspiration. I was trying to find something online that was for free, could not find anything. So I came up with my own. Yes, I did. I freehanded, and I put this little alien in a UFO with some little planets around and some little stars. And then once I got it done, I realized it goes very well with my Missi's Yarniverse and More project bags that I had Ranee make. Um, Her and her husband came up with my logo as a surprise way back. And yeah, this goes really well with the bags. And if you want to see those bags, look at yesterday's video or the day before. It looks super cool with that bag. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe something like this might pop up on Missy's Yarniverse bag. So I just have to figure out how I did it. So that was day 63. And then we started my vacation advent squares that we had already drawn out so that I could be working on them to get ready. And for day 64, we had drawn out this square in the Red Heart Super Saver jumbo stripes in neons. And I decided to leave it blank because I like the color play work in it. Um, and I do have some appliques that have not been used yet. Some of them are much bigger than will fit on just one square. And so some of these might at a later date that are blank be implementing those too large appliques that because I do want to use them before the end of all this. So these kind of cool squares are being left blank just in case. And looking at it the last couple days, I'm kind of seeing a black cat right there. So yeah. So that was day 64. And then for day 65 square, we drew out another purple. Yes, we did. And I kind of took inspiration from a suggestion from a couple of you guys that you had. I think you guys put it in there more than like a couple of times actually. And it was two of you. And that was Ranee over at the Woolly Llama Shop and Patricia over at the Yarny Cat Crochet. They both had wanted to see a caramel apple because they're synonymous with fall, right? But Patricia specifically stated in her comments when she would put this in there, she wanted a green apple caramel apple. So, yes, I did a Granny Smith caramel apple. And the pattern for the apple itself was from the Unraveled Mitten, and the information's in the description box. I ended up freehanding the caramel because I couldn't find anything and put the little drips and did the stick. And I kind of winged it, knowing kind of how I wanted to do it because we had done the poison apple before. And so I had remembered how we kind of did that. And so, yeah, I kind of took inspiration from that to make this caramel apple that Rainey and Patricia wanted to see. So that was day 65. And then day 66 square that we drew out was another one from the Brights, but it was a lot of greens, and it started off orange and then it went to neon yellow and green before it trimmed out in orange. And when I looked at it, I knew it had to have this applique on it that I had made, and it was sitting in the little box next to my chair. So I put this little black cat applique on it, and I just gave it some eyes, the green eyes to go with the neon green. And the applique for this kitty is called the Black Cat Crochet Pattern, and it is by Golden Lucy Crafts. So that was what we did for day 66. And I love this square. It is so pretty. It just had to have it was screaming it needed a black kitty. Because we hadn't done one in probably a few days. So no, we hadn't done one at all during this whole as we're leading up from day 71. We have no black cats. So yeah, we had to put one in. I think we have one. I want to say we have one in every group of 10 so far. I would have to look back and make sure, but I'm almost certain we do. So, and of course, we got to keep the momentum going with the black kitties, right? So, there was that for day 66. And then day 67 square that we drew out was from that same Red Heart jumbo stripes in brights, but it wasn't a solid granny square where the colors just flow on an outward trajectory. It was in a C2C fashion, and it was the yellows, the neon yellows and greens. And I was trying to find something that would go on there that would look super cool because I didn't want to leave it blank because it was very light colored. And I happened upon a post online by Divine Debris, and it was actually the first picture that I saw was a candy corn bag or handbag. But I noticed on that bag that they had made a little cupcake applique and put on there. and it was super cute. So I got to looking on her site on Divine to Breeze, and I found the pattern for the cupcake, even though it wasn't in the colors that they used for the applique on that handbag. You had to change them yourself. So I made the cupcake and I changed the colors. I just figured out how many rows of each of the colors to make it candy corn, to make it a Halloween cupcake, and put the sprinkles on it. Um, and so I thought it was super cute and it goes pretty well on the square. And I think that the greens, fluorescent greens and yellows, the neons really set off the Halloween cupcake. Because you got to have the sweet treats. I mean, it's fall and Halloween, right? You start baking, you've got every excuse in the book for fall and Halloween treats. So we did the Halloween candy corn cupcake. So that was day 67. And then that leads us up to today, day 68. And we drew these out, remember, because I'm on vacation. And we drew out this green. It's like I think this is, is it gecko green? No, it's not gecko. I can't remember the name of the green. Um, it's not quite a slime green and it's not gecko green. And I think it's big twist, but I'm not for certain. And so I was trying to figure out what I wanted on it. And I kind of decided because like I said, I've got a lot of appliques I've been working on that either are unfinished or finished, um, that have been going into the box next to my recliner. And I really wanted to use these because it's one of a set of, I think it's 5. And we haven't used them all. And I want to make sure I implement them all into my blanket so I don't forget, because I don't want to leave any of them out, because after all, they're little trick or treat friends. They are ghosties that are dressed up like trick or treaters. This one happens to be, we've already done the ghosty holding a pumpkin, and we made more pumpkins to make ghosty in a pumpkin patch. We have done, what was the other? We have done the Franken ghosty, and I think this is the third one. This one's the witch ghosty. And I did a little purple witch hat with a little black band. And I remembered to use the little kawaii safety eyes on this one. There was one of them I forgot. It was the last one we did. But I wanted to make sure that I implement all of the little trick-or-treater friends of the ghosties on there. So I decided for day 68, I was going to put the little witch ghosty on my square. And I think he's super darling. So yes, that is day 68. Ah, yes, we are quickly getting almost to the end of this group of 10. We only have 2 more days. Yes, and we've already drawn those squares. So I will be back tomorrow for day 69 square that we drew out a couple weeks ago so that you guys can see what we did with it. So I guess with that, I am going, oh, and by the way, that little ghosty, the little witch ghosty, is also from the Caffeinated Snail. Like I said, it's a little group of 5. There's a witch, there's the Franken ghosty, the pumpkin ghosty, there's one dressed up like a vampire, he has little black bat wings, and then there is a pirate ghosty. So the little bat ghosty, vampire-ish, and the little pirate ghosty will be coming sometime in the next 30 days. So there we go. Caffeinated Snail down in the description box. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope that you are enjoying your day and that you have had a great weekend. And my vacation is quickly winding down. I'm not even there yet when I'm videoing this, but I can already feel it. I know I don't want to go home. So, with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I love you bunches, and I will see you back tomorrow for day 69. Bye for now.